All right. It's it's been a while. It's been a while. What are we gonna
Hello.
do? It's been a while. Happy Memorial Day to all the Americans. I want to say thank you to all the service members who have served and lost their life. Thank you for your service. Thank you for defending the country. Thank you for allowing us to maintain our freedom and allow us to be able to do what we're doing here today. So thank you to all who have fallen while serving. So good morning. Well, actually, it's closer to evening for you, right?
Yes, but good morning to you.
Yeah, it's still morning. I got one more hour here on the East Coast. It's noon. It's still morning on the West Coast. Um, yeah, there's some stuff I want to talk about. We're basically we open the door. We open the door uh, to you at 11 a.m. We're just going to talk about whatever, really. There's a lot of things that I do want to talk about. I know that. Here, let me switch to this. Let me turn the comments on.
Hi
There,
everyone.
yes, hello. There is. Where's my banner? We got to have a special guest host, Rosee OT, going on across the screen there. There's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, and you know, as I've been kind of like, I was really busy this last week and a half or so, exhausted as hell, busy as hell, exhausted as hell. But during that time, I was like, man, there was like one night I possibly could have done a show, but I wasn't, thumbnail and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, it's going to take me this long to even get it set up. And by then, and I got to get to bed at this time. And I'm like, I'll just have to wait. And so I was like, you know what? I've spent all of this time going back to the beginning, and I was like, in the beginning, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, why don't we just do that? We already did it on our weekly update shows on the weekend, and those were a lot of fun. We got to talk about a lot of different cases. We got to the live call with Streamyard. Very great, very good call from Moto Man. Thank you to him. Very interesting stuff he brought up too. But I was like, that's how I used to do it in the beginning. And it's like, why don't I just do that? Like instead of, because it's summer, I'm gonna be even, I might be even busier throughout, but at the same time I'm like, if it wasn't going to take me like 45 minutes to prep for a show and I was just going to talk about the stuff anyway, why don't I just, hey,
Yeah.
I'll just have a regular thumbnail. You'll see who's the host, whether on whoever's on the thumbnail, together by ourselves. And, not to say we're not going to have specific shows, because we're going to have some shows that are, yes, we're going to be going through documents of this case or whatever. But for the most part, for most of the week, it'd be nice to be able to, since I'm going to have a little bit less time, it'd be nice to be able to just say, hey, y'all, I love you. I'm going to open the doors at 7 o'clock Central. We're going to talk about a few things. Come on in. The door's going to be open. We'll update the thumbnail later. We'll update the title later. Because you know what? There's been plenty of times where I spent the time to prep for a show, and then all of a sudden it turned into something else. Not that it
Yeah.
was bad, but it kind of, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it like this. Let's go back to
Do it.
the
Yeah.
old days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be talking um, about a couple different things. Yes, even the David stuff too. Why is StreamYard not? StreamYard's like freezing my comments.
Oh my goodness.
Do I have to back out and come back in? I hope not. Here, let me shut them off and turn them on and see.
Did that help?
I don't know. Let me switch to widgets or something. By the way, there are widgets up here at the top left. You can scan a QR code for Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and if you would like to become a member. So there's those. Let me see if it'll... Okay, they're loading back up now.
Okay, good.
It's being buggy. They had some updates. Here, let me take that off the screen real quick. I apologize, you guys. They had some more updates to this, and anytime there's an update, it just wrecks it. Good morning, Stone, Tigo. Just about to eat breakfast. What are you eating for breakfast? I don't really eat breakfast very much anymore.
Really?
Yeah. We love you too. It's been a little while. That's why the algorithm don't like us, because we don't have like a set, There's probably a lot of people that don't even know we're live right now just because they don't get notified. It's YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
We can't forget about... Huh? What's
yes.
that?
I mean, I was saying, like, that's how it works. Like, with the notifications and stuff, it's crazy how many people come afterwards and they're like, we didn't even know. You were there. Yeah.
Well, and with them auto unsubbing people too, that doesn't help either. There's a lot of people. Gosh, I didn't know. And then notifications just, all I can say is unsub and sub back and turn the notifications back on to all. That's the only thing I can suggest. It's been a problem with YouTube for hell ever since I started the show, and it's an issue with a lot of content creators too.
Yeah.
They have a lot of it. I don't know. It's the AI stuff that they have running the show over there. Whatever. Don't know. And they, a lot of shit gets shut down because of this AI stuff. Hell, even when I appealed one of my strikes, I literally appealed it, and like 3 seconds later it got sent back denied. I was like, what the how does somebody, like, you didn't even go look at you didn't even go review it, right? It was obvious it wasn't it was AI. Yeah. We can't forget about Diddy. He got new trials coming up, including Keefy D with you. Yeah, I know. I remember we were live. I went to Vegas. I actually went to that spot. It's unfortunate I didn't get any footage. I didn't have my equipment at the time, but I went to the spot where Tupac was killed at that intersection. And yeah, that's with Diddy, man. This is what's crazy is I heard he might get out early. I don't know if it's true. I haven't really researched it too much, but that's what I was hearing like a month ago or maybe 3 weeks ago, that he possibly might get out early. So I don't know. The Keefy D trial, I'm wondering when that's ever going to happen, because he was arrested back in 2022, 2023, I believe. And he's got rid of this lawyer, got a new lawyer. It's been extended and extended and extended. And so it's like, when is it going to happen? Because every time that it's supposed to start, something happens and then it's another delay. So I don't know.
I'm not even familiar with that case, but I know that that's
well, this dude was okay. So basically, do you even know about the Tupac murder?
A little bit.
A little bit, probably not much, huh? So basically, this guy, Keefy D, supposedly, allegedly was in the vehicle with the person that killed Tupac. Okay. And the other people have passed on. There was three other, supposedly, allegedly, there was three other people in the car, and those people had passed on. Now it's part of gang culture. That's another thing, but basically, after everybody passed away, he saw that there was an opportunity to make money from people interviewing him about what happened, because this whole time nobody has ever came out. Let me put this up. Nobody has ever came out and said exactly what happened, even though there's a lot of speculation, because the streets talk. All right, that's what you want, the truth, the streets. All right, so there was a lot of speculation, but there was never anybody that came out and actually said this is what took place. Well, this guy was getting busted on a drug deal. He was facing a lot of time. And so the Los Angeles Police Department offered him a agreement that was allowing him to tell everything without getting in trouble, right? Because they were trying to solve this murder too. So they offered him this agreement. He was on tape. He agreed to it. They let him continue to live his life, right? He didn't have to go serve time. He spoke up, said what this, they took that. Okay, thank you. You don't have to serve your time for this. We're still going to be watching you, but you can go back home. This recording got put out from the officer that was there giving him the agreement. The recording got out. The recording is what was making money first. So the guy that was on the recording, Keefe D, that said everything that took place, he was like, screw these people getting the credit. Screw these people getting the money from this story. That's my effing story. So he started to go on to get interviewed from the same YouTube channels that were interviewing the cop. So he was getting paid for his interviews. He came on multiple times. He went on multiple platforms. The police used that to arrest him as being a co-conspirator of the murder, because this dumbass thought that he got to tell his story forever and never get in trouble, but really the agreement was just for that meeting. So that's how he got arrested. That's how the trial's going to happen. Now he's been claiming, I made some stuff up, this didn't happen, but back when he was getting money for it, this is what took place. So that will be an interesting trial. We definitely need to cover that one. So hopefully we'll be able to. What's up, Miriam? Good morning to you. Let me see. YouTube had an update yesterday, I think. I don't even know what they did. I don't really eat it either. Just make it and sit with my lady. Yes, your littles, my smallest, just have it. Aw, bagel with mustard. Aw, that is weird though, isn't it? I need to go through all the channels, and it said I don't watch because he is. Yeah, I mean, I have to. I literally have to have my phone shut off, but mine is for research purposes, local news stations, I have so many local news stations subbed up because that's where you get the instant news, the actual boots on the ground news, not like pizzazz,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But then sometimes when you're going through your list and you're just like, who is this? I don't even remember how you got here.
Yeah.
When did I subscribe to you? I know about needing to find out.
Well, yeah, like Idaho4, for example, right? Back when it first happened, that's when the channel first started. the local reporters were going, "This is very odd, you guys. The police have not
Mm.
even come out with a statement yet. This is just really odd, you guys. We're not this is" the local news reporters were actually getting upset on camera because multiple days went by where the police department didn't even make a statement on it. So that's where you get the
Yeah.
passion, the local news. That's why I always shout out any local news channel because really, you know, um, it's about the stories. It's not necessarily about the clicks like it is with a lot of the mainstream media that you see right, today. That's why, we are the realist reporting of media because I'm gonna give it to you straight, How many times have I went back and forth with Koberger being guilty recently
Yeah.
in the last few months just because of different things that have come out? Even when the plea happened, there was people that I was friends with from the beginning, and because after the plea took place, and I said, "Look, anybody that didn't commit, there's no way in hell I'd even come close to this kind of plea agreement. If somebody, uh, took this plea, they obviously, look, you took the plea, you're guilty of it. He must have done it. You don't take that plea if you didn't do it." Right? And so I lost some friends because they didn't want to associate with me anymore because they're like, "You just backflipped." And I'm like, "No. I've always said from the very beginning since I created my channel, I don't know everything. I don't know all the evidence. I don't know all the discovery. I'm not in that room with the investigation. None of us are. But what I can promise you is that based off of whatever information, I'm going to give you the real frickin' opinion. It's not about views. It's not about clicks. It's not about being on one side of the fence. No. And so a lot of people got upset with me. And it's like, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and be Velcroed to a side of the fence. That's not how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, things evolve, right? And so,
Yeah.
but then when I heard about this hair evidence on the bed, well, then all of a sudden I'm like, well, now I can understand why somebody might take this plea because they're thinking that their lawyer's backstabbing them and they don't want to get the even though it takes 27 years, nothing is 100% in life. And with what he was going through, maybe he didn't want to roll the dice and take the chance of having rifles lighten him up,
Yeah.
so I mean, he probably is like, you know what, analytically, I probably don't have a good chance, but this is what he should have done if he really didn't commit the crime, right? When they asked him if he was satisfied with his counsel, he should have stood up and he should have said, "No, because they're not testing the other hair that is part of this crime, the death grip hair clump." That's what he should, because right then, boom, things go in another direction. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
had when he answered it and he said, "Yes," confidently, "Yes." He had his chance right then. So I still have issues when it comes to, guilt and innocence because at the same time, it's like, okay, the hair wasn't getting tested, but at the same time, you had every opportunity to stand up and speak, and it could have went in another direction, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think on like the general point of that, I always find it a really good sign when people are flexible in their thinking and they can change their mind based on new information and like everything you were saying. Like if you have
Yeah.
someone who's rigid and just like stubborn with things like that, then I think that's a really bad sign in a creator, especially. Like for me, it's the complete opposite of what people were saying. the fact that you can adapt your thinking is important. Like you're supposed to be able to do that.
That's the only way you can evolve, think about how we cook out on grills. We started off, chopping up dinosaurs and throwing it, stick, fire. You have to evolve, right? If you're stuck in the same thing velcroed, how do you evolve? And that's our main goal on this planet. The reason that we were given this beautiful gift of life is to evolve, to teach and help the next generation be better, so then the next generation after that can be better and be better and be better. You have to evolve. What do you think about the Upchurch getting sued? Ain't that crazy? 17.5 million. I heard 18 million too. Holy hell. I talked to Rosee about this when it took place. I told her, I was like, this might not be good for for certain content creators. It might not be good for certain content creators because the fact that you can get sued 17. Now, the stuff he was saying, it was kind of like on the same level of Alex Jones with the Sandy Hook stuff. It's made up. They're plants. That is, that's disrespectful to the family, and it's already hard enough to deal with a loved one being a victim of some kind of crime. And then to add that on top, that's like with the Nancy Guthrie case and the people that are constantly blaming the family members. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, they don't even care what they're doing, Hell, there's one of them. I warned everybody about this criminal network guy a few months ago. And he was on a live stream last night getting pissed off because the police were asking him to leave. And the neighbors... we're just walking by, going on a walk, and he starts cussing them out and shit. And it's just like, and I don't understand it. Like, none of them went to go search. That's how none of them really cared about finding Nancy, because they went to the mountains. They went in places they knew they weren't going to find her, because that wasn't the purpose. If the purpose was finding her, they would have did a grid ground search from the property outward a mile. It's that simple. And that never took place. And it's just unfortunate. But, the fact that neighbors have not wanted them for a long time. We reported that a long time ago, too, when I told you that the neighbors ain't drinking JLR's Kool-Aid no more. All the way back then, I was warning. I was like, look, the neighbors aren't happy anymore, you guys. Like this. And, they continue to speak their unhappiness. And these people are getting mad because the shit's drying up. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It makes you wonder, like, could that be something that the Guthrie family does, when they're talking about, you got these content creators, this group of them, that are discussing how all these family members are linked and, this and this, and they keep putting their names out there for the clicks and views, and they've already been cleared from the investigation. And so could that be a thing that we could see in the future because of this right here, because of this Upchurch being sued? Could the Guthrie family go after some of these content creators that have been out there or continue to create content with the family member's name involved? The Guthrie family has a lot of money, and I don't think it would take anything for any one of them to get together and say, we're going to put a stop to this and do exactly what Upchurch had happened to him. So what do you guys think? What do you think about that? What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that this could be a trend where possibly the Guthrie family will start to go after some of these content creators that are making money off of false accusations when they're just trying to grieve their mother that it went missing and no sign, no clue, and a botched investigation, which means they'll probably never have an answer unless her remains are found. I don't know. What do you think about that? You think that? I think it's going to happen. Watch.
Yeah, yeah, I think that
Watch.
it is going to set some kind of precedent for that, because if you look at how it usually goes, at least like recently, there's usually one or two very influential content creators who put the idea out there, and then they wait for the smaller channels to like pick it up and run with it. And that's kind of the danger of these extremely large channels that aren't, that they're not actually putting any basis into the things that they're saying. So I think
About
with the
this. It's
level,
about that.
yeah, yeah, and I think with the level of like how dangerous it could become for family members, just based on like you don't know what people's followers will
They
like
could
to what
have they could
extent.
have people following them right now that don't make
Mhm.
themselves known in the chat because they get incited from those content creators that create that flame. I mean,
Yeah,
they could literally be in danger as we speak from some nutball. I mean, just
yeah,
think about all of the threats when I'm boots on the ground. All of the
yeah,
stuff that has happened. Like, there's so many, like, it's just wild when when you experience the nutballs of this society, when you're just trying to do a good thing and you experience these nutballs. I can imagine what these family members go through that are being falsely accused of being part of a crime that it's not even legitimate. It's because it's for
yeah,
clicks. So I can
yeah.
imagine it's got to be dangerous.
And also like I feel like maybe there's certain people who believe that these accusations towards family members are actually true or something like that, but it doesn't even matter because it's
Oh, they
it's just
do. You
it's
can
not
see
correctly handled. Yeah,
the comments and the chat boards, and these people are vicious. They are
yeah,
vicious.
yeah, and with like the fact that it's getting dangerous, like the level of access to information that people have, I do think that it's going to set some kind of precedent, and not just for like defamation, but I think really for safety, for people's safety when they're being talked about on the internet and they just don't have any like way of sort of protecting themselves, because you never know what people are going to do. It's
Right.
insane.
I mean,
Yeah,
how many times has Tommaso been chased down?
yeah,
The Guthrie family has the money. It's a drop in their bucket for them to file lawsuits against every single one of these people. And I see
yeah.
it coming. I call shit before it happens, have done that the whole
Mhm.
time. And I'm calling that right now. Watch the Guthrie family. I even called this, watch this happen too. The Guthrie family is going to file 2 lawsuits, one against the Pima County Sheriff's Department for the botched investigation. Said that for the last few months. Said it already. I asked the question. Nobody, I don't even think you took it seriously back then, did you? But look what's happened. He doesn't even want to talk to the Guthrie family. He cut off contact with the Guthrie family. They're starting to see the botched investigation. I guarantee you they're going to it takes time just like this lawsuit, but I guarantee you're going to see a lawsuit, Pima County Sheriff's Department, and you're going to see a lawsuit against all these content creators like you saw against um, Brian Upchurch. It's going to happen. This case too. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one. I don't know. Did you watch that? I did watch it, and I have
I did.
some interesting stuff to say. Also, we are gonna have like a dedicated show on that case because there's some interviews that I want to sit back and watch with you. But we are going to discuss this case today as well for a little bit. And you did watch it. You did watch it.
Am I frozen or is CJ frozen?
You're frozen. You might have to back out and come back in, maybe.
Is everything okay now? I think I
Yeah, you're
froze. I
fine.
don't.
Yeah, you
Okay.
probably froze. Um,
Okay.
You did watch the crash, right? How many people in
Yes, I
chat
did.
have watched it? Let me know. Hit 1 if you've watched it, hit 2 if you haven't. I do wanna take some StreamYard live calls on this case because I wanna hear there's a lot of different there's 2 sides of the fence on this one, alright? And
No,
I wanna hear what people have to say because I watched it. I have my own opinion on it. I we haven't even talked about it, I don't think. Um,
not
and
much.
so
No.
I wanna hear what you have to say, and I wanna hear what you guys have to say. Like, this one is very interesting. Um, yeah, so we'll be discussing that here in a minute. It's a different taking a plea for versus plea. Yes, it is different. What's up, Rita? Thank you for hopping in. I thought, I mean, that's what, you know, I agree with
Hmm.
that too. Like, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying there's part of me that, because hell, after the plea, and Rosie knows this because we were doing the show together when it was taking place, um, I was like, I could never understand for the whole time until a week or two ago when I heard about the hair clump. And I'm like, that's a death grip. How come nobody wanted it tested? Oh, well, it was tested and determined to be. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about determined to not be Cobra. I'm talking about DNA frickin' profile like you did for Koberger. That's what I'm talking about. And that wasn't done. And so that's when I'm like, dude, I'd feel like my attorney was stabbing me in the back secretly, coming to tell me, but really I'm sitting there going, what the hell is she doing right now? Is she making a deal? You know, especially if you don't want death grip hair clump getting tested. But there is still that's the only time since the plea that I've actually went, there's a little bit of me that can see why maybe not me, but somebody might take a plea.
Yeah.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, he didn't stand up and say, no, I'm not happy with my counsel. They didn't test that hair. Could have said
Yeah.
that. Could have said
Yeah.
that.
I think that it's also it's like important that we just don't really know his state of mind, I guess. Like it would, like if we knew that, it would be easier to factor it in trying to understand all of this. But
Of course. Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
But all we can do is go with what's released in the documents and what's on the
Mhm.
surface, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm still 75% dude's guilty, 25% took the plea because he didn't feel like he was had a chance or being defended properly. But still,
Mhm.
you didn't stand up and say no. I'm not happy with my counsel because they didn't test this hair. You would have said that, I would have been still on the 100% not guilty. But he didn't. So it is what it is. I feel like he's guilty to an extent. He had a hand in it. That's what I'm thinking, Tig. Like, and you go back to the when he was originally arrested and asked if anybody else was apprehended as well. Uh, it's one of the reasons. I mean, hell, even before Brian Koberger was arrested, I was not really understanding how one person could commit that crime, right? Like
I mean
with what we were
that's
told in
never
the beginning,
yeah.
different floors and noise and all that, and it's like, how does somebody not, so, um, even with what the Consalvis, like I think it was like the first interview that Christy and Steve did. It was a local news station interview, like in the very freaking beginning, like it might have been before the first press conference from the police department. Anybody that's been covering it literally from the first day, like I have, you will know what interview I'm talking about. It's the interview where Christy Consalvis said, people need pay attention to anybody that you saw even go to a corner drugstore. Somebody would have had to get a lot of bandages. That's what she was saying. She was saying we were told that the person would have had to have been injured and they would have needed medical bandages. So if you've seen anybody go to a gas station, if you've seen anybody go to a corner drugstore, if you've seen anybody go to a Walmart, if you've seen anybody, just do you remember anybody getting a large amount of bandages? Please call. Like the very first interview that they did, they were standing out on the street. Um, and so even from back then, it was like, how does one person commit this, right? And get away? And so there was always in the very beginning, the first few months, we were exploring a lot of multiple suspect
Yeah.
theories, and not only theories, but people, like people as multiple suspects. And when even when Koberger was arrested, started exploring people that could have been associated with Koberger. And to me, he didn't seem like the type that could have pulled that off. And so to me, I called him like he's the one that planned it out but didn't have the physicalness to carry it out, right? Like he was the brains of the operation. When you looked at like the stuff he was studying, because once he was arrested, we found out who he was, where he went to school, where he went to school previously, what he went to school for, all these different things. And it's like, okay, I could see him being the mastermind of it, but not necessarily the physical part. And that's where you would need somebody else. You got two people doing it, maybe more, but two people doing it. You got one person that has the smarts, like, hey dude, no, we shouldn't do this, hey, we should go this way, hey. And then you got the other person to kind of make sure the mission completes. And so that's kind of like what I thought. If there was guilt, do I think he like did it? No, I think somebody put the freaking sheep there so that, just like with the porch guy and Nancy Guthrie, guinea pig. Let's make him show up on the footage. Let's make him be the one to drop his DNA inside. I'm the mastermind. I'm not the one doing it, kind of thing. So if he is, I don't know for sure, but if he is guilty of it and he did take part of it, that's what I see him being, the mental side of the operation, not necessarily the physical. There to help, but not necessarily the one that was initially, doing that. What do you think about that? Like, what do you think about his guilt, if he has guilt, in your opinion, and if he acted alone, and if he didn't, what part was he?
Yeah, so I mean, I have to say, Brian Koberger's guilt or innocence is something that I go back on like probably about 3 times a day. I don't know. Like, I'm just not sure. Like, I think that the plea deal really did change things for me as well. So that was like a huge part of where all the confusion came from for me. But I just don't feel like he entirely did it.
What's your percentage? I'm 75. He did it. 25. He didn't. Just based off the stuff I've already listed. What's your percentage?
I think that I'm probably like stuck in 50-50 still, because
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, like I think that the plea deal changed things, and then the book kind of changed things back, and then I just I don't know.
Damn.
But I mean, I think that
so him not standing up, not saying I'm not happy with my counsel because they didn't test the hair, the death grip hair clump, that's what do you think about that? Because I don't see why he wouldn't do that. You obviously see a scenario where he would say yes even though he didn't feel that way because you're 50-50, no? Is
Yeah,
that a good assumption?
so
Okay.
the situation with where he didn't say that, like, I find that weird, but then I come back to his attachment to his family a lot, his mom, his dog, like stuff like that, and I kind of just feel that it's such an obvious vulnerability of his that I don't entirely know what you could get somebody to do if they have such a soft spot, or such a like he's just wearing it publicly, that even people in prison can can say that he has to leave the room when he has loved ones on TV being discussed. Like, I don't know what you can get a person like that to do if they are like so, that one weak spot is so clear publicly. That's something that trips me up a lot. Is like, how much can you manipulate somebody like that if they are so attached to?
Well, I was hanging out on a live stream. I think it was a week ago. I can't remember, but I was hanging out on a live stream of Harsh Reality. Shout out Harsh Reality. Um, he was the guest that he was having on was having issues joining his live stream, and he saw me in chat and he's like, EvilleCJ, if you're at your setup, which when I come home, I'm usually at my setup doing work right away. I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, yeah, if you want to hop up here and hang out for a little bit until uh, the guest gets his thing figured out or whatever. I was like, sure. It was about, Idaho4. I was like, I have a question. I have some questions for you if you want to if you want me to ask. And he's like, sure. And I asked him about Ann Taylor, and he put a short video out. I'll have to get the link for you guys so you can go show him some love. But it was about Ann Taylor and Brian's, I guess, dependence on Ann Taylor. And he brought up a good point, right? And he said Brian is in that cell, right? And the only contact or knowledge that he knows from the outside world is the stuff he was watching in his cell and what Ann Taylor tells him. And so he brought up a point, like, if somebody, and you've relied on this person, as in Brian Koberger has been relying on Ann Taylor for 3 years for her to tell him the breakdown of what's going on, the outcome, the possibilities, all of this other stuff. And so he's gained that comfort as that is who is going to, he brought up the point, like, if I've been telling you this whole time that everything is fine, even though I can see it, you can't. And I'm telling you this whole time, everything is fine over there. And then all of a sudden you get ready to go over there. And I said, oh, you don't want to go over there. Trust me, it's really bad now. You're not gonna, because you're like, whoa, this person for the last 3 years has been my support system. And oh man, if they're telling me that it's really, even though it might not, it's really bad over there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's a great point. Like, I can see how even if you're not satisfied with your counsel, you can still say you are, because she could have manipulated a certain way, like, look, Brian, I don't want you to die. It's not going to go good for you. And he could have been, okay. So even though it wasn't the best outcome for him. So I can see, it kind of sounds like that's where you're at. Kind of like with
Yeah,
what he brought up. That's kind of where you're at with the 50-50, right?
yeah. So I think it's very similar to that, and I mean that's a really good point as well. Just in the sense that, like, I think that he has these vulnerabilities that maybe I hadn't necessarily thought about that much, but I think that a lot of stuff came up lately when I saw that in the book, when it came to his just general stuff like letters and stuff that all indicate this attachment to his family, which is probably intensified by the fact that he's not with them. That makes it even more intense. And
And plus the Ann Taylors having conversations with his family members too. They're on the other side of the country. They don't know what's going on. They're probably on the same reliance for from Ann
Mhm.
Taylor as Brian is. And so,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, yeah, I can
and
see that. I can see that.
I, that's where the 50-50 comes in for me, because there's so much stuff that I do find strange, especially when it comes to the plea deal. But then there's also, like, there's almost doubt around those things because I can kind of see potential reasons for them, and that's the main reason I just can't make up my mind when it comes to guilt or innocence. And I don't know, I oscillate between the two. um I feel like if he did it and if he was involved, then I, like everyone, I just don't see it being him alone.
Yeah.
I
Even with just the evidence, even if
mm,
it was Joe Schmo, I still don't see Joe Schmo doing it by themselves,
mm,
you know.
yeah,
Especially everything that we've seen come out in these documents and what the evidence really was, and can in comparison to what we were told for a lot of the time.
yeah.
Um,
And
yeah, it's
that's the thing. It's like when there's so many miscommunications and coincidences and strange things going on with a case, it's so hard to like settle on an opinion because it's hard to know what to trust.
yeah,
And
yeah. You
yeah,
don't know.
and this case has been like that from the beginning. And I think that the roommates and, like, the surviving roommates and that whole situation factors into how polluted the information is, because like that just adds onto it. I firmly believe that there was definitely some kind of cleanup,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was reinforced for me with the book. And then it's like, well, what?
With water too. A killer didn't clean up with water. That's somebody that was living there. I'm just being honest. Like
Yeah,
the killer's not gonna look
yeah.
for a fresh towel and use water from the sink to clean up. Like that's just asinine.
And then when you think
It
about,
was the roommates.
yeah, and then when you think about Brian Koberger having committed the crime, and then just their behavior, it's like it doesn't it doesn't fit. I'm not saying that they were involved. I'm not saying, I don't think that. But it's like, would they behave that way for him? No. Obviously there's other reasons that this whole cleanup took place. But it's almost like, whoever committed the crime, they were so relaxed with being there, being on the scene. Like, I don't see that being Brian Koberger necessarily. Like,
I mean, just the sheath alone creates. There's so many reasonable doubts that would have been
mhm,
argued in this trial. That's
yeah.
why I'm like, how does somebody take this plea? Yeah, it's crazy. It looked like a circus. Yeah, did you like they were cooking out and stuff too? There are several issues: harassment, trespassing, privacy, defamation, incitement. I mean, that's a lot of the
Mhm,
doxing. Yes, death threats.
yeah.
Um, to create like accidental doxing from creators because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things, yeah, and lack empathy. There's a lot of things that the Guthrie family, like, they it's a drop in the bucket, you know? In
Yeah.
the Idaho 4 case, Steve Consalvis invited people to write letters. Yep, yep.
Mhm.
That's why, it's why it was crazy to me that Steve struck me. He was one of my strikes in 2025. The Consalvis family struck me, and I reached out to remedy the situation, and there was no response, and no adjustment on the penalty. So, and which was crazy, because if anybody that's been there from the beginning, if you guys remember, Steve Consalvis was getting bashed a lot in the very beginning because he was the only one coming out with actual tips and giving the public information to help solve the case. Because the police weren't talking anything. And I would have been nervous too. So I even said back then, I even got a lot of hate for sticking up for Steve back then because I was like, look, if it was me, I'd be doing the same damn thing. I'd be doing the same damn thing. Look, if the police ain't trying to find the killer, I will. And so, it's a little shocking that they would strike me because there was a video that Steve did where he came out on a local news station and said, if basically, if you didn't support the surviving roommate's story, you were low class. And I was like, oh, so, and it was a discussion. It was a discussion on how
Mhm.
it's low class to call other people low class because they have a difference of opinion. And they struck me for it. And so, yeah, that was one of the strikes. So that was a little interesting. But that's a little story about Steve Consalvis. It was kind of crazy because in the very beginning of 2023, I was actually part of a group um, that got the Linda Lane footage before it was even put out. We were already had our hands on it. We already were in knowledge of it. We already knew how it was obtained. It was part of the group I was with, and so yeah, it's just a little interesting. Like, and Steve was part of it. You guys
Mhm.
like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been put out there or not, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
Steve was part of it. He was part of our group getting the Linda Lane footage.
Yeah,
No, not
I
a,
think.
it wasn't a Reddit group. No, this was a group that I had meetings with. Um, we had Zoom meetings where we were on camera. We had our documents. We had specific things that we were doing as a collective part. And Steve and another female were the ones that were the top working on obtaining the whole thing while everybody else was kind of doing different parts of it but yeah, Steve was one of the main people that helped us get it, and also how we obtained it, because it was actually given to Steve first.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't. I think I'd probably. There were
I don't know if I've ever said that
rumors.
before,
Yeah,
but
I
oh
don't
well.
think so.
Oh
Yeah.
well. Oh well. Yeah, I keep shit for a long time, trust me. But it's, I'm talking about Steve. That's what he did to me. Okay, buddy. All right.
Mhm.
Here's
Yeah.
here's my slap back at you from the strike from a long time ago. But yeah, that's what happened. He was how we obtained it, you know.
Yeah,
It was him. So uh, let me see here. But yeah, so that's the whole Steve stuff. Creators with Netflix
that's a
coming
good
out.
name.
Yeah, that is. When I read that Witchy, there's a debate of what's up, Witchy was and Jay Gallagher and everybody. Thank you for hopping in. There's a debate of whether BK even knew about the hair. There was also a huge data dump 4 days before the plea that Anne never opened. Well, according to Turvey, he said, and that's probably the stuff that you're talking about. According to Turvey, Turvey said she knew about it.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. The hair, she knew about the hair way before 4 days. She knew about the hair. When did he say she found out about the hair? Do you remember? Because it was like months before the plea even took place. It was like early in the year that she found out about it, right?
I can't remember specifically what he said, but he said that she knew, and like
January, end of January. Does that
timely
sound
way.
right?
Yeah,
Does that sound
I'm
right?
not sure.
And the end of January.
I don't know. I don't know, but
I think it.
he
I
said.
think it.
Sorry, he said she knew. She definitely
Yeah,
knew.
for a long time.
Yeah.
The chain of custody with the sheath was something he brought up to her 4 days before. But, you know, they had already argued the chain of custody in the very beginning, trying to get the knife sheath tossed to not be argued, and it got shot down from the judge. So the judge at that point, when it's that close to trial, I don't see the judge saying, nope, it's getting I would see him looking at it and go, well, we'll just wait until this is argued in court. You know, I don't see him changing anything when it comes to the trial taking place because of the chain of custody, because it could be argued and the defense could have proper documentation that shows the proper chain of custody. That's still a possibility, but what's not a possibility is the fact that the hair, you already know the hair wasn't tested for any other DNA profile. That right there is a for sure that you know it wasn't tested for another DNA profile. And so that's something that you would pause that trial on, because that's something that you're like, wait a minute, this isn't going to be argued because it wasn't even tested. But Ann Taylor never, even though she knew about that way ahead of time, never decided to get it tested for another DNA profile.
I mean, one of my main concerns when it comes to that is, and I think I've mentioned it before, but you know, she was talking about samples, unknown male A, unknown male B, and she never mentioned the hair. And I think that now, knowing that she knew about it, I don't know why she didn't use that information of the hair to strengthen the point that she was trying to make when she was bringing up those unknown male samples. Like that's when she should have mentioned it, and that's something that bothers me. It really does. Knowing that she knew about it, that was the time. It really was.
Exactly, it was. Yeah, the G family are the ones that told police about the grub truck video. The police didn't even know about the grub truck video, and the Consalvis family, Olivia's actually the one that found it. And yes, they're the ones that they actually are the ones that passed a lot of the evidence to law enforcement. It's beyond that grub truck. That's why I was saying, like, I was disappointed when Steve came out with that local TV station interview, or no, it was a Fox News interview, because he's wearing like a cat hoodie, and he's like, "Don't make me be the alpha," you know. And that's when they told him like he had to step back, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks," because I really felt we saw everything that the Consalvis family was putting out there, and the information and the help that the public could take and go, okay, now I have something that I can try and help with. I honestly, and I even said it back then, that it was unfortunate that it took place, because I really felt like Steve and Olivia could have solved it, honestly, with the way that they were sleuthing. Um, that's why it made the police nervous. That's why they're like, you guys need to slow down. Not that we're not going in the same direction as you, but we got to dot the I's and cross the T's, and it takes a little time. And it's like, why would you tell a family member to slow down on trying to find the person who committed this crime? Isn't, I mean, don't you think if the family is actually the ones, it's like Sheriff Nanos not wanting the FBI to help him out. It's like, no, families, don't help us solve this crime. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, right?
Yeah, and when it comes to the G family, I mean, like I know we're talking about Ann Taylor and how did she change? Was there a change and stuff like that? And with them, sometimes I also feel like there was a change. Like there was, I don't know, I didn't follow early enough to notice, but I don't really know when it happened. But I feel like they did change as well in a lot of ways, and I guess that can also be accountable to the stress and the grief and stuff like that. So it's not my place to say, but
Yeah.
I actually feel so.
Yeah. The people that I was working with, were on Reddit and TikTok and all those other platforms. I wasn't really interested in any of that other shit. I had so much other stuff that I was doing. Honestly, and I don't even, I think I only did Reddit stuff maybe a couple times in November and December of 2022. Other than that, I just Reddit, there's so, I mean, gosh, that's like if you want speculation out the yang, that's where you go. Like there's so much. I have so much shit to do and so much shit that occupies my time. The last thing that I'm gonna do is go like read a bunch of freaking threads on unverified whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I agree
so
too.
it might have been put out. I don't know where it was put out first, honestly. I wasn't really concerned about it. Um, I was just it was just interesting, that that it existed and it was going to come out. Now, I did break away from that group shortly after that, because they were going down some avenues that I didn't want to be associated with. Like they started going beyond a point that and I'm talking about screwing people over. Um when they Cuz they screwed these people over when it came to this footage. I'm not going to give you the story of maybe one day. But the people that offered up the footage got like totally, and I didn't know this is how it was going to go down, but they totally got misled from this individual that did that on their own, because it was never about obtaining it that way. But this person um, did some unethical things to obtain the video, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, if this is how people are going to investigate and obtain stuff, then I just don't even care to be around it. I advised the other people that I was with that they should not either. And that was up to them to listen or not. And if anybody knows what and who I'm talking about, then you know that these people had to later on and come out and apologize for stuff that they were doing from that point on, which they were down with how it was, and I'm like, look, you guys, I'm just giving you a heads up. This is not how you shouldn't associate with it like that. You shouldn't be around that. If that's how it's going to work, then that whatever. Um, and they didn't listen, and these people had to come out later on and a lot of them got docked. I mean, there's a lot of shit that happened, but these people had to come out and like they took part of this shit that took place after. You know what I mean? They were okay with it. So, um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long story. It's a long story. um, but yeah, they were all over those platforms. There's shit that there's like chat groups of shit that I can't even remember the name of the apps and shit, you know. I
It's a
wasn't
lot.
cuz it just I don't know. It just, you know, never I'm not going to say anymore. What's up, Fly Girl? I already said enough. Yeah, yeah. But anyway. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this The Crash
Hmm.
doc that's on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay, so I watched it. Um, to me, she seemed like an entitled, stuck up. Um, Train wreck. Just gonna be honest with you. Now, people can paint things different ways. Now, we did see the recording of her trying to break in. I'm gonna break the effing door down. That just reminds me of fatal attractions that I've had in my past. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, so chicks are like that. Some of them. But, you know, we've also heard stories of how that dude was also smoking a blunt going 95 talking about how he was going to wreck the vehicle with her in it and all this other stuff. We've heard, you know, different we've seen text messages between Mackenzie and Dom's mom about how Dom threatened to wreck the car while she was driving, grabbing the wheel, all of these other things. Now, what I do want to say is it was kind of interesting that, yes, the brake was never applied. And to me, it's like, how was it never applied if you weren't trying to do it? Right?
Mhm.
If you
Yeah.
weren't trying to do it, it's just automatic body reaction for somebody to jump on the brake. It's just automatic. And for not even 1% to be pushed down, if something was stuck behind the pedal, it would register 1%, 2%, 3%,
Mhm.
something. There would be some kind of movement. So that to me makes me think that she did do it on purpose. All right. Um, but at the same time, we weren't in the car. You know, there was the gear
Mhm.
shifter got moved during that. They were going down a curvy road. You're not going to navigate that if you're like she claims in this Netflix doc. Mackenzie claims she was knocked out, blacked out. If you're knocked out, blacked out, I don't know how you're maneuvering a car around windy, curvy roads going 100 frickin' miles an hour. I don't understand that. You got to be hyper focused to be able to pull that off. So to me, there's things that say she did it on purpose. Um, Now there's like I said, there's other evidence that is out there that can paint a different scenario of doubt, but I don't think it's that strong where it could be that strong of a scenario that you know, especially with the break, not even 1%. But here's the thing. I think she was trying to. So, a lot of times when you're dealing with those fatal attractions, they have that attitude of, if I can't have you, ain't nobody gonna have you.
Mhm.
And so we've already heard and seen videos and things like that of, I'm gonna kill us, you know, blah, blah, blah. I honestly think she, just based off the evidence, the nothing on the pedal, brake pedal, 100% the whole way, and the maneuvering down the road going at high speeds. I think she was trying to do that. She was trying to do a murder suicide, because maybe there was a conversation when they left the house. Hey, how come you didn't cuddle up with me tonight? I'm so tired of this shit. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
And I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Mackenzie. Oh, the fuck you are. That's what I see taking place. Now, when it comes to the trial, I don't see how you can prove that now that's how I feel and that's what I think went down, but when we're talking trial, I don't see how somebody could have been charged with murder. I see manslaughter. I don't see the murder, even though how I'm thinking she
Yeah.
was doing a murder suicide, right? So yes, that is murder, right? But when it comes to the trial, I wasn't seeing murder. I was seeing manslaughter. That's my opinion on it. What is yours?
So, well, firstly, like, just the impression that I have of her, and something that I noticed in the documentary was that when the prosecutor said that he looked through her phone, he quickly got an idea of who she was or what she was like. And I think that's something that's really difficult with this case. And I myself find it really hard to separate the evidence from the fact that I just cannot stand her. Like, like, like,
Entitled little brat, and you can
yeah,
see the parents were coming up with so many excuses, like, oh, but she could have blacked out, and it's
yeah,
like you're just, this is why she's entitled and a brat, because this is how you've raised her whole life, where she's never had to be accountable for shit.
yeah,
That's how
yeah.
it is. The
And that,
realist reporting of media.
yeah. But I think that's it's important because people will be so like deterred by her that they might not look at the evidence particularly closely. And for me, what confuses me was the footage of how calmly she was driving on the main road and then how that changed. And that was something that did factor in. And when it comes to what I think happened, I think it is like I'm thinking something similar to you is that I don't think that she took days to plan this and decided that's how she was going to do it. I feel like
No. Mm-mm.
she got into a fit of rage in the car. And I think that I feel she probably had like a very short fuse and she
When
just went
she
from there.
Yeah, like when
Yeah.
she's not getting her way, like when he didn't open the door. She didn't get
Yeah.
her way, so she was threatening to break in and all that.
Yes.
So yeah,
Exactly.
like as soon as
Yeah.
she turned the corner, it would be like, what do you think about the murder or manslaughter though thing when it comes to the trial though? Murder or manslaughter? I gotta say manslaughter. And let me create a poll for that too. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. No. And that's. I mean, in a way, I think that it was reasonably foreseeable that that outcome could have happened. Like she could have foreseen it. Like she could have, even if she got into a fit of rage. But at the same time, I struggle with the murder manslaughter thing because I feel like she was probably overcome by some kind of tantrum, and that's what happened. And I don't see it as something that she thought out
She
in that way.
probably she probably back sh like with her little fit, she probably did black out. She probably blacked out when she was having fits of rage.
I mean,
Sometimes people do that when they're that when they have that much rage inside them and they're loose cannons, a lot of them do black out.
Yeah, and also like when it comes to the parents, which we did mention, like she probably has a lot of control just by like freaking out in that way and getting what she wants by acting like that. And it's probably worked so many times that maybe she didn't understand where to stop. And I guess it's, I mean, it's
And
interesting to me that she chose the bench trial instead of a jury trial, because I always feel like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like
that
that's a
was
way
weird.
that she could have she could have appealed to a jury better. I feel. Um, I thought that was a really interesting and really bad choice of hers. I have to say that. When it comes to the murder manslaughter, I don't know. Like, it might also be that like the law is a little different here for me. So like the legal term is dolus eventualis here. Like she, as a reasonable person, she could have foreseen what was going to happen, and for me, that is murder. It is. Even if she
Well,
didn't realize who she was going to harm, she involved like a third person as well. Like,
yeah, that's but I mean, I'm just going off the trial that we saw
mhm.
on Netflix. I I think Law and Crime. Let me look. I think Law and Crime. So it's got the verdict. I'm wondering if there's like court TV or something that I wouldn't mind sitting back going through the trial that went place before. Okay. I would, because I saw some of the trial on Netflix. It wouldn't be a bad idea to actually sit down and watch the trial, like the recap of it, and see everything for ourselves, and then come up with
Yeah,
the conclusion of Manson. Because it was a Netflix doc. You know, who knows? I wasn't there for the trial. Um, I heard about it, but it was something that, it wasn't a true crime
I'd never
case or
heard of
anything. You know what I'm
it. Yeah.
saying? It's from Cleveland, so it was something local. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't mind like, Nick the Hat has some stuff that he's gonna be putting out about.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen. Nick the Hat is putting out stuff. Shout out to him too. He's putting out stuff about
Mhm.
stuff that he's received, that he's going to be putting out there to the public. So he's got an untold story. The sister of Dom has a podcast. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, has a podcast, and she's had Mackenzie's ex cellmate and what's the gentleman's name? The
Davia.
the yeah, his sister on a podcast. So I thought that'd be interesting to listen to and check out here coming up in an episode. Um, but yeah, it would be interesting to like sit back and actually watch the whole trial. Now, here's a video of this is a video of the hearing where she was sentenced um when the trial happened. So they did say in the doc that her lawyer and her were shocked. They didn't think that either that would have been the outcome. They didn't even think that would have been the worst outcome. So and that's her mother right there
Yeah.
speaking. Um so it would be, I think it would be,
Yeah.
I feel like I would need to see the whole trial just because I know how Netflix and those
Yes.
companies can twist stuff, hey, can we interview? Can we get some footage? I'd rather not because I know what you guys do to us. And that's why I've always declined from the very beginning, from the very first Idaho doc that they did, I think on Paramount. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And Drunk Turkey did it, and you saw what happened to Drunk Turkey. I knew it was going to happen. They don't
Yeah.
like us. We are their competition, people. They will never give us the proper respect that we deserve because it's competition. They're trying. You see what they do on all of them. You see what they do. They make you look
Yeah.
like a nutball. They cut it up, edit it up. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to see if the trials are in a playlist or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
and sit back and watch
think,
them and see,
yeah.
is it manslaughter or murder? You know, the Sisters podcast with the ex jailmate is interesting. I bet it is. I haven't checked it out yet. We will here probably this week when we have a dedicated show.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
what was your impression of her when Netflix interviewed her? Because for me, like she was so different to the clips, just in
Well,
terms
she
of like
grew up. She grew up a
the
little
whole
bit,
accent,
but
everything was different. Yeah.
yeah, the accent, that's one thing that threw me off. I was like, where did this accent come from? Because yeah. So that
Yeah.
was weird. Um and the way that, like her hair is right here, you see it right here, and then the way that her hair was in jail when I first saw her, I instantly went, whoa, I didn't know they allowed you to put on that much makeup or do your hair like that in jail.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they allowed you to put, because that was a lot of makeup. And
Yes.
that, like, I mean, damn, that shit that she had, that little circle thing that she
Mhm.
had, that shit was like right on the money. I don't like how like how did like you went to a salon before you got it? Like how did that happen, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You
I
got a
mean,
makeover before the freaking interview. Like how does that happen?
yeah, when I saw that, I initially thought that like she got the interviewer to bring these things for her, but I saw an interview. It was one of the somebody who was there with her in prison. That she was there for a short time, and she had seen her. Uh, I think it was Brian Anton. I was like half listening, but I do remember hearing that she said that she always had a lot of makeup, always, like every day.
Well, she did. But
So
she did, but you're in prison.
yeah, in prison she was
You're
saying,
in freaking prison.
yeah,
How?
I don't know.
Like
It's not good.
how? Like how? Like I like
Yeah,
how?
I don't know.
Apparently the prison she is held at is cushy. I mean, that's got to be it. Like look at that. She's even allowed uh a tweezers
Hmm?
to pluck her eyebrows, to shape them. She's even allowed a tweezers to pluck and shape her eyebrows.
Yeah.
So, and another thing that I noticed is she doesn't, just like the parents. It's like the realist reporting on YouTube. They didn't show her any accountability. You don't see accountability in the interview that she had. You don't
No.
see any accountability. Instead of her saying, I learned my lesson, no, I didn't murder these people. Did I make a mistake? Yes, I made a mistake. Did I learn my lesson? I learned my lesson. Instead, she's like, do I need to be rehabilitated? No.
Yeah, and to say it was
Like,
a medical emergency, probably
right.
when
Deflection, no
yeah,
accountability again.
yeah,
No accountability again. And to these people that are saying like, "Oh, she deserves a new trial." You know what? She's only serving 15 frickin' years. She's gonna get out like a manslaughter punishment. So just
Yeah,
let it be. She needs to serve her time. Because
yeah,
that's what she would get for manslaughter anyway. She just has murder on her frickin' record. And honestly, I really think that you were trying to kill yourself and your boyfriend, and the dude in the back seat you didn't care about. He was just a McDonald's wrapper to you. Just
yeah. And
a empty raptor that's on the ground, you know? Like that's how she treated him too. So serve your
yeah,
frickin' time, dude. That's how me.
exactly. Yeah,
That's what I
and
noticed from the interview.
I mean, she, like you say, 15 years is not a lot.
It
She'll
ain't.
get out at my age. That's like, that's not. I mean, you would expect something so different when you listen to what the judge said to her in the documentary. But I think what was factored in, of course, was her age and all kinds of stuff like that. And in a sense, like she was like that was very lenient.
It was for 2 murders.
Yeah,
Very lenient. Yes.
yeah,
Very for 2 murders, very freaking lenient.
yeah.
Very. And yes, Jay Gallagher says, I don't want to spoil it, but the ex inmate gives a lot of insight about her
Mhm.
jail time. Yes, I heard she was quite the entrepreneur in jail,
Mhm.
is what I heard. So yes, that it is. It's gonna be I got them saved up, you know, for we'll probably go probably this week, honestly. I'll probably have one night where I go through the ex Celly, and the next night I'll go through the sister's interview. And if you do some shows during the daytime this week, you should cover them as well, and we can
I
talk
will.
about it. We can talk about it next weekend, what we thought about their interviews. But yeah, they're definitely and also the Dom's sister is also put out a campaign for TMZ to take down the video interview that they did with Mackenzie or Mackenzie's dad. And we can watch that too if you guys want to. I have it on my Twitter, by the way. Whether I'm live or not, I do always retweet information, news, articles, uh, updates, breaking news. So you can follow me over there on Twitter if you're not already. And this too, these, I suppose we can go. I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to? Not that we're not going to be talking about this case anymore, but is there anything else you do want to mention about this case specifically, the interview, the doc, anything?
No,
Also, there is a poll out. Make sure you vote. Murder, manslaughter, undecided. Um,
no. I think that is everything. I I really wanted to know what you guys thought about the bench trial thing, and I figured you guys would agree as well. That I found very interesting. But I mean, other than that, I'm really looking forward to going through the actual trial because I mean that ultimately will
yeah, we should do
will.
that. Maybe next
Mhm.
weekend during the daytimes. We can do 2 parts, like on a Saturday and Sunday. We can, even if the, you know, even if the it might take us a couple weekends. I don't know how long the trial was. I don't know how many hours total or anything like that. But we could always do some shows on the weekend, evenings or mornings, whatever suits you better. I would like to sit down and watch the trial together, um,
Yeah,
and break it down together and
yeah.
kind of discuss it from there. I will open up the live call here in a few minutes. I'm just going to go through a couple things on Twitter that we mentioned or discussed. I do want to play that interview for the dad, but you know, he's like, "What was I supposed to do? I didn't, did I know she was smoking weed in the car? No. What was I supposed to do?" And it's like, hold your kid accountable. Take the
Mhm.
keys. Like just like when they were a little kid, right? You you took their favorite toy because they needed to understand that's not something that we do here. So we're going to take something that's valuable so you learn your lessons so you understand accountability. Just like with the car, you take the damn keys, dude. To sit there and act like you didn't know, you should have already been checking the phone before that, so you would come across your child taking videos of smoking weed when they weren't even old enough to even have a permit, and they're out there doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do certain
Mhm.
things to make sure that you protect the kid because the kid doesn't have the knowledge that you do. Why make your kid get busted up knees, the same busted up knees that you might have done? We're supposed to evolve. And so that's
Yeah,
what that whole interview was. It was just total deflection. Uh,
and honestly, with I mean, I haven't watched the interview, but with what I hear you describing and him saying stuff like, "Well, what could I have done?" It kind of tells you where she gets that attitude from as well.
yeah, of course.
You
Like
know.
that's where she gets it.
Mm,
They thought the best. They had to of. They had to of.
mm, but mm-mm.
Because and honestly, like I said, I didn't. I can't wait to sit down and watch the trial because I don't want to go off of Netflix, but all I can go off of is Netflix and what they showed of the trial, and I can say from what they showed, I didn't see murder. I saw manslaughter. So I went
Yeah.
down a rabbit hole with this one with Jay Gallagher when we open up the live calls, the StreamYard live calls. Click the link and let us know what you think about it so far. By the way, if anybody is going to be joining the live call with StreamYard, if you have headphones, please use them if you have them because for some reason, if the phone audio is really loud, it kind of comes through and creates a feedback. So make sure number one, because you're going to be able to hear what we're watching. You're going to be able to see the comments as you're jumping in if you're doing a live stream call. So before you join, just close out the YouTube stream. Or actually click on the link, but close out the YouTube stream so you don't get a double echo. And then also just turn your volume down. If you don't have headphones, just turn your volume down just a little bit. So that way it doesn't get picked up in your microphone, which then creates like a audio rabbit hole, so to speak. And then it kind of gets a little feedback. But yeah, if you let us know. I'm going to be opening it up here in a minute. I'm going to play a few things. Also, if you are enjoying the live stream, help us reach more people and get back into the algorithm. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, comment, and share this out to your socials and friends. We appreciate you very much. And even if we have notifications, you'll see like the notification you see today, the thumbnail that you see today. It doesn't mean that it won't be about a specific topic. It just means maybe right before the show is when we might have that specific topic for the thumbnail or whatever. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with a consistent time that you know that the door is going to be open like we did in the beginning. Like it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're always going to have the door open at this time. And so that's what we're going to be trying to get back to. So it might be sometimes where I don't even know what we're going to be talking about until we start the show. Like today, we had a couple things written down, didn't really have anything prepped, but there was a lot of stuff over the last week or two that we wanted to discuss. And so that's what we're doing. All right. So I wanted to share this real quick. This is when I was talking about that content creator um, that was treating these neighbors really nasty. This is the conversation that was taking place, and then I'm going to go to a couple other things here on my Twitter X. Again, if you're not following me, uh, definitely click on that link and make sure you have the notifications turned on to all, so that way you get a notification anytime. Check this out.
How you doing?
I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm not going to get out of here. What are you going to do if I don't get out of here, bud? I didn't think.
So look at this. These neighbors walk by, right? Because these neighbors, it's been, I told you, when was the video I did about the Kool-Aid for JLR? Let me check. Let me see. When did I do that video about the Kool-Aid? Because that's when I was told these neighbors are done.
I think I was
I don't remember. When was that?
yeah, sometime in
I don't know. It was like a couple months ago at least. Let me see. It was right around when I did the video comparing him to John Paul Miller about the coercive control, domestic violence, and financial exploitation of Magnolia, just like JP did to Micah. So that was middle of March, so a couple months ago. And that's when I was warning everybody about this individual. So the neighbors since middle of March were done with these people, because it's like I always said from the beginning, why are there people sitting outside the house when they could be searching? It's not like, or even like sitting here at the house, like Nancy or the person that abducted her is going to waltz up the driveway. Oh gosh, they caught us on tape. The last place they're going to come back to is this. You know what I'm saying? So it never really made sense to me. It's a prop. It's a prop that's on camera. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's meant for. It's a prop. It's not, we're going to try and catch the person coming back. Maybe they forgot something and they're going to come back, or Nancy's going to get dropped off at the edge of the driveway. Like, there was no reason for anybody to really sit out there other than have the prop on their screen. And so these neighbors have been upset for over 2 months now, right? 2.5 months. They've been voicing their frustration and how they don't want these people there. And so these people, their neighbors, they're out just having a walk.
How you doing?
I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm not going to.
And he's like, hey, you need to get out of here. So this instantly makes this criminal network guy pissed off, because he's tired of telling people that he can't be there. Now, he came out with an interesting post right after this, and there's a lot of, when it, like, we're talking about Mackenzie and the lack of awareness and the lack of accountability. This dude's own family members was telling him everything that I warned everybody about 2 months ago, saying it to his face, and he is the one that still is not taking accountability for this. But listen to how he talks to these neighbors.
How you doing?
I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm not going to get out of here. What are you going to do if I don't get out of here, bud? I didn't think so. Keep it walking. Keep on walking, yellow shirt. Keep going.
Yellow
Get
shirt.
out of here, bro. You don't own this street right here. You think you do, but you don't. So keep on walking.
Think about the other people that live around here, though, man.
I'm worried about Nancy, not about you, asshole. Get out of here.
Just ask you to be respectful.
Wow.
That's not what you said a minute ago, asshole. You can't change it now. You told me to get out of here. Yeah, so why don't you get out of here? Ass clown. Keep it walking. You ain't gonna do nothing. Keep walking, bro.
The funny thing is how embarrassed and ashamed you are.
Yes, I know. I don't even know what you said. You're not even funny. You're still an ass clown.
How embarrassed and ashamed you must feel right now.
I do, you ass clown. Too bad you're talking shit in front of your own daughter. Why don't you learn how to be a father and learn how to be an adult, you piece of shit?
That's how somebody talks to a community.
yeah.
Crazy. crazy.
Yeah, I don't even
Crazy,
have
crazy.
words.
So he comes out with a post. Shout out Nerdy Bird Mafia. Check this out. Okay. And I'll go full screen so you guys can read it real quick. All right. It says, sorry to make this about me. This is from Criminal Network on X. Sorry to make this about me, but I was woken up by family members calling me, and it brought me down so hard that it's honestly difficult to even go live anytime soon. I hate airing out dirty laundry, but this is what was said to me. They told me I embarrassed them. They said what they saw on my lives was cringe, that I looked like a pervert, that I motorboated Nancy Guthrie's titties, and they even asked if I was back on dope. They said I'm painting a bad picture for the family and any future jobs. I tried to speak up, but it just kept going. They told me I've done nothing for Nancy, that I've made a mockery of the case, that I need to self-reflect and take accountability, that I'm putting the family at risk. They brought up the FBI badge at Nancy's house and said I'm making fun of the disabled. Remember when I showed everybody that, how he was pretending to be a cop and promoting that he was going to police brutality with that badge and a taser against somebody, and also was making sounds like he was a disabled person. Even when he outed his friend Ted Investigates for his drinking problem.
Yeah.
He continues to say, I cried through the entire phone call. None of what was said about me is true, or it has been taken out of context. There is the deflection. There is the not accountability, but it's everything that I've warned everybody that this dude was about. Everything that his family was telling him is what I was telling other people. And it's wild. And then he continues to say, and the thing is, I finally found something that I love doing, something I can actually make a living with. He's going to make a living off of sitting out in front of Nancy's house. That's what he's making his living off of. And suddenly I'm being hit with more rules and guidelines, like you can't mix true crime and comedy, basically being told to change. I'm 54 years old. This is who I am. I already have the costume. If I've ever embarrassed any of you, my apologies. This is who I am, and I already have the costume. More, not accountability. More, not humility. More, not empathy. More, not awareness. More. Just like Mackenzie, where's the awareness? You know what I'm saying? Your own family. Your own family is telling you this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, it's for good reason. I mean, yeah. I mean, people were warned.
Yeah, like everything his family said is on his own live streams. We all watched him behave this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what's happened. And the fact that, now I'm going to leave the poll up for a little bit more. You know what? I can take it down for now. Oh, shit. Resume. Hide. There we go. Yeah, everything he's doing is that I feel bad for the family. Not only the dude, like this is what happened. Okay. So yeah, he probably made a bunch of money. He was having the prop in his camera, made a bunch of money, and probably blew through it all thinking that it was going to continue to come in like that because he doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. If he was smart, he would have saved the money And if it was really about helping victims, he would have used that funding to fund the next help with you know what I'm saying? Like, if he was smart, but he probably blew it all on fucking weed and porn. You know what I'm saying? He was dumb. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, you don't show off a badge. You don't, there's so many different things. The motorboating, like, it wasn't comedy. The family was right. It was perverted ass shit. How in the hell do you talk about motorboating anybody, let alone a victim? Anybody, like, for that matter, if you want to have an S&M show, do it on another, you know, that you don't mix it, because you're talking about, like, victims, man. Like,
yeah, that's never okay. There's just no way. There's no scenario in which it is.
And the crazy thing is no awareness. He's going to continue. Why do you think the cops are going out there asking him to leave? Because these neighbors, they can't even walk down the frickin' road and ask somebody to leave without them feeling threatened. Like, ass clown, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Like, it's like I said, these are all a group. You see them all together. They're all hanging out. They're all making up shit that's not true, you know? Just like JLR's version of events at the airport. That video's been put out now, the body cam. You have people at the airport, people that work at the frickin' airport, saying, if it was me and that guy, they're saying JLR, if that guy was doing that to me, I would have felt attacked. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if there's going to be a lawsuit like Upchurch got hit with, where the Guthrie family is going to hire a really kick-ass lawyer that is going to be able to wipe all these other people's lawyers off the fucking map, because they don't have the bankroll that the Guthrie family does, and I can see them shutting shit down. And these people that made off all this fucking money off of Nancy, their family member, if you don't have it in the bank to pay for your lawyer, well, karma's a bitch, because you're going to have to come up with that money to defend yourself. The money that you made off of their family member, you're going to have to come up with to defend yourself. I could see it coming. And honestly, I hope they do. Because when you see what we just saw, that is not reporting. That is not compassion. That's not helping. That's not doing shit. And the fact that a prop is so important to you that you're literally going to treat neighbors that way, karma's a bitch too, man.
Yeah.
Karma is a bitch too. Because I can guarantee you wouldn't appreciate it if it was your loved one that had that happen to. Like, if it was your mama that went missing, nobody knew where it was at, and you had people all vulturing around making money off of your mama missing, and then you ask them to leave and all of a sudden they want to fight you. I don't think you'd appreciate how you're acting to them, and that's what empathy is. That's what humility is. It's treating other people how you would want to be treated in that situation. That's how you should approach it. That's how you should be in life. If you don't want somebody to treat you that way, then you don't do that to somebody else. You just don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only warrant we can think of, what's up, Mike? The only warrant that we can think of that happened in the case was through the FBI for Luke Daly's mother's house, and that was nearly 90 days ago. Exactly. Don't you think if the FBI, this is why it upsets me that there's these other shows. That's why I said the realist reporting on of all media, because we're not giving you clickbait like Luke is the number one suspect. We're going to tell you honestly, and have told you honestly for the last 90 frickin' days, that if the FBI or the investigation had more information, they would be a person of interest. They're not even a person of interest. So you got people literally about to do shows this afternoon, this evening, that are like, they know who it is, but they can't prove it. Bullshit. If they knew who it was, listen, let's speak some realist reporting. Let's speak some. If they knew who it was, but they couldn't prove it, what the fuck is the DNA? Because don't you think, because listen, we're talking partial DNA. So don't you think that they could take which they already got the DNA, don't you think they could take the DNA and link it up to the frickin' partial DNA? Don't you think that they could take a hair and match it up to the frickin', don't you, huh? Let's think with common sense. So no, they don't know who it is. Because if they knew who it was, like some people are claiming now, then they would already have the evidence linked up. They would have had the evidence linked up 90 days ago. These people are just literally throwing shit at the wall and seeing if anything can stick. And you guys are the wall. We don't do that here. JLR did not go to court. His lawyer went to court, and he actually lost. He's got some L's coming. He already lost a few days ago against one person, and there's some more coming up. Did you guys see the 2 missing boys taken by their father in Utah? The mother lives in Washington. Somebody wiped the internet of his profiles. What? What's the name of that one? I haven't seen that one. I'll have to go to like my April folder, but I'm not recalling that one. I might have saved it because I do save everything that comes through. I just don't get a chance to check it out. Also, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link. If anybody would like to StreamYard live call, there's the link for you. Like I mentioned, if you could do me a favor, make sure you, after you click on the link, make sure you close out of the stream. Don't have the stream playing in the background. And then also, if you have headphones, it is preferable because of the echo. But if you do not have headphones, just try and turn your volume down just a little bit so our voices don't get picked up on your microphone, and then it creates a echo chamber of back and forth. But headphones are always the best. So if you'd like to let us know what you think. What do you think about Koberger? Do you think he's, what's your percentage innocence to guilt and why? What do you think about the Mackenzie Shirilla case and discussion? Manslaughter, murder, undecided, Nancy Guthrie? Whatever. If you'd like to, you're more than welcome. We're just going to hang out here for another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll be ending the show for today. I am going to head over to EvilleCJ's Lounge, so if you are not subbed up to the Lounge channel, here is the link for that. I'm going to be doing some truck simulator and probably some NASCAR with the wheel and pedals. So I'll be doing some wheel and pedal action if you want to join me over there at the Lounge. And I might show up back tonight with some police simulator over here on the main channel. It's been a while since we've done police simulator. I think it's about time we do a patrol. So I'll if I do that, I'll be back over here on the lounge. All right. So Jennifer is showing up. And so we're going to have her, we're going to bring her up. We're going to see what she has to say. What's up, Miss Gallagher? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good.
Hello.
So you went down a rabbit hole for the Mackenzie Shirilla case. What did you think? What's on your mind? And is the music too loud for you? Let me know.
Oh no, the music's not too loud. But yeah, I did. For some reason, that case just grabbed a hold of me. There were a lot of similarities in her behavior with my ex-husband. You know, when your parents don't allow you to have accountability, you kind of create a monster. And I really feel that she kind of lost the ability to see other people around her as actual human beings. And they just became a means for her.
I'm sorry, they just became a what?
Like a means, an end to a means. Like that's how she felt. Yeah, she felt seen, heard. She had to have the attention. You know, and when you treat people like that, you tend to lose your humanity.
I wonder if she even had any to begin with, honestly. Right?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think she was raised that way. That there's no accountability.
Yeah, like raised that way from birth, really.
Yeah. Parents covered up everything that she did.
Yeah.
You know, probably from childhood.
Mm-hmm. Or dismissed it, deflected, created excuses. Yeah, exactly right. That's why I think I didn't. Did you see any accountability? Like with what Rosee asked me, what did you think of the interview that was on the Netflix doc? Did you see accountability? Did you see any kind of remorse? Did you see any kind of reflection?
No, I thought that whole thing was a joke, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, it was more I felt done on her family's part, just to get sympathy and to try and deflect from what she really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that does, you know, as we've been saying, that does come a lot from the parents as well. And it's kind of an interesting concept of like, did they make her into that, like create a monster, like you say, or was it something to do with her? And I feel like it's probably a combination, but it just didn't help with them literally fixing everything for her and making her feel like she's different and more important than anybody else.
Well, look at how she acted to her, like in that interview that she did with the Netflix doc. Look at how she even acted to her lawyer. Well, I don't know if you should say that. I can say that. I can say that. Like, I was like, whoa, like you're even like telling your lawyer what you know you can say and not say. And I'm just like, damn, this chick is straight up entitled AF. Like, entitled AF, capital AF. I mean, do you guys both agree about that? Like, she is like entitled as fuck. That's
oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch the impact statement that her mother made in court?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I know I watched it, but I think that was a part of the doc that I would have to rewatch again. I remember seeing her up there. I do. We were actually playing that in the background, that video. So, but no, go ahead and speak on that. What you want to mention? Sorry. I remember her, but it was like deflection or something. But what's the what do you want to speak on that?
No, I think it just proves a lot of about her parents just covering up everything and her entitlement. It was
Yeah.
very disgusting watching her up there talking to the judge. She she had no remorse. She was not sorry for what her daughter did, and she kind of downplayed the fact that the two boys in the car were human beings, like I've been saying. She referred to Davion as just some new friend that they didn't even know.
Right. Yeah. And he was supposedly one of the clique, that had recently came around. And I always saw photos of him and Dom together. So to me, it looked like wherever Dom was at, so was he, and she was with Dom all the time. So how did you not, how did you not have more of a connection, I guess, so to speak? Yeah, more deflection, more, more distance. I'm not gonna. I don't know. That just there's a lot of, and honestly, she got 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that is for a murder charge of two people, two murders. 15 years is pretty light. So I don't know what she's complaining about, honestly.
No, if you go down a rabbit hole like I did, you start hearing a lot of people talking about her personality and her being a mean girl in school and treating people just really, really bad. You kind of get the impression about who she is and who her personality is, and the ex inmate has a lot to say about her personality and how she felt about the crash and her involvement. So it's pretty interesting. Like, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot more to that girl than just what you see on the Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of skeletons in that closet, because when you have that kind of shitty soul, you leave a lot of skeletons in your path. You really do. And I would like to, we'll have to set up a show where we actually, if you're interested, where we have you on panel, because your rabbit hole, I would love to hear about it. I'm sure Rosee would too. And
yes.
yeah, maybe sometime, maybe during the weekend or something next weekend, we can, if you're interested. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. And always, I just want to say thank you for all the support that you show us, whether it's here on the main channel or we're at the lounge. Uh, just the last few months, the support that you give to the community, it really means a lot to me and Rosee. So since you're here and you're on the phone, I do want to personally thank you for your support. And but yeah, I'm sure she would. I would love to hear this rabbit hole that you went down and what you came up with, what you think, your opinion. And maybe we can do it where we listen to the interview of her ex cellmate at the same time, if you want to do it with us next weekend. Yeah, just let me know. But
that sounds great. I'd love to do that. Just let me know when you guys might have that show.
Yeah, like probably next Saturday or Sunday, or maybe even a Friday or something. We can figure out like the minute details or whatever. Just email me and we can figure out a time and a day that's suitable for you. Because I would love to, especially with what you're saying and the rabbit hole that you went down, and how it kind of goes with what we're going to hear with that specific episode about the ex cellmate. I think that would be a hell of a show, honestly. Have your opinions on your rabbit hole, and then also kind of watching that interview, all three of us too. It'll kind of like be its own its own main topic that I would love to hear it. and have you on. So, yeah, we'll figure that out. Is there anything out like manslaughter or murder? What do you think, Jay Gallagher? Are you thinking manslaughter? You thinking murder? Undecided? Do you think the 15 years is enough? Do you think she deserves a new trial? What do you think about that?
I think the manslaughter charge, just the trial that they had, I feel that was probably the only option. For a murder charge, for me, I would need another trial with a lot more evidence, maybe a lot more witnesses. I think in her mind, like personally, in my opinion, it was a double murder. I believe she knew what she was doing, and she knew those two people were in that car and what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But with just the bench trial, like, I mean, there just wasn't. If you have to go by evidence, they just didn't have enough evidence for a murder charge. I do think that any charge she would have gotten in that trial just was a joke.
Yeah. I honestly think they, just like you said, they weren't expecting a murder charge, and I think that's why they went the route of the bench trial, because they were probably going, look, if we do a jury trial, these people can really mess us up when it comes to our punishments and what we can get charged, or convicted with, and the sentence and all that other stuff, like the jury determines. And so they probably thought, damn, one mind is a hell of a lot better than multiple when it comes to the decision that we're trying to accomplish. And it backfired on them, because the judge, the 100% gas pedal and the 0% brake pedal, that right there, the judge didn't have a choice. I mean, now you talking to a jury, this is where they messed up. Like, one person could have had reasonable doubt, and there you go. But yeah, they made the mistake. I'm surprised they went with the bench trial too. And yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. What do you think? You agree with it, Rosee? I think she's pretty spot on with all of it. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also really looking forward to hearing what you think of the judge, because just from the little bit that we saw in the Netflix documentary, I really liked her. Like, obviously I haven't seen much, but I just thought she was really great. And I think that she handled it all really well. And I'd like to hear what your rabbit hole thought of her as well next weekend. But I agree with everything.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Well, thank you so much for hopping up. Appreciate it very much. We're going to have to end the show here, but I will be going over to the lounge. So if you want to continue to hang out, make sure you sub up. And thank you again, Jay Gallagher, for calling and hopping up, and your comfort, and again, your support for the show. It really means a lot to me and Rosee and everybody here. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. And I can't wait. I can't wait for next weekend. It's going to be a blast. So I want to say thank you all. Appreciate you very much. Again, thank you again, Jay Gallagher. And we will see you on the next one. I'll be live. I might do a live tomorrow night, but I'll be back doing shows Thursday as far as I know. And we'll be getting more into the crash case next weekend, listening, digging in. Probably have a couple shows the weeknights this week. It's probably going to be what we had today. We discuss a bunch of different cases. We talk about some things, open up the live calls, see what you guys have to say. And we'll go from there. So it's going to be a mixture of dedicated shows and shows, all the latest breaking news, the latest updates and all that stuff, the different cases, the different things that happen, breaking news from that day. I mean, how right before the show, something could pop off and, hey, we need to cover this. So I want to say thank you to Rosee. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for your hard work. Thanks for being part of the show too. Thanks for all the work that you do in the background. And thank you, everybody, for just being here and hanging out. Please hit the like if you haven't. Subscribe if you're not. to myself or Rosee. Link is pinned in the chat or in the description. Make sure you click on it. Thank you again, Jay Gallagher. Appreciate you guys. Happy Memorial Day. Hope you're enjoying your time with your family and loved ones if you're able to today. And thank you for our freedom to all those that have served and fought and died for that freedom for us. Love you guys. Please be safe. We'll see you in a little bit at the lounge.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.